Hi guys, we're actually in Luminar Neo. I thought we'd just take a quick look at it. It's a really good piece of software, especially if you're a beginner in photography and editing and all that stuff. And I'm just going to keep this quick edit really simple by using probably about one or two tools within all the options there. And it does a lot, and most of it's AI driven, which is really good. So I'm just going to get into this edit. This is just not the best photo in the world, but as you can see, it's very flat, and I haven't done any edits yet. So over here in the develop, you see it's got raw written there. That will actually disappear once we start editing, but you can find it again up here in the edits. So when you're working with Luminar, even in Lightroom really, the first thing you want to do is set your foundation. So I'm just going to change the profile to maybe a neutral there, and I'm just going to adjust the exposure. I'm probably going to bring it down just a touch because I can see the whites are clipping. A little bit of contrast. Deal with those highlights. It's the sky that's really blowing this out. And I'm going to just bring some more detail back in the shadows a little bit. We can come down into curves just like you do in Lightroom, and we could maybe pull up those shadows a little bit more in the curves, drop the highlights down a little bit. So you're really just sort of getting a slight S curve, just brings a little bit of contrast in. And yeah, I think I'm going to go with that. Now as soon as I close this down, this develop, it's actually still there, it should disappear. Maybe if I do another edit, I'll just go to the enhance, because this is always a second base place to go. You can get a good feel for the edit here as well, so I'm just going to give it a little bit of that. And I'm going to enhance the sky because it looks really awful. There you go, it just punches a bit more detail into that sky there. Now I'm going to close that down, and as you can see now, the developer's lost that raw symbol. It doesn't matter, I can still obviously use the develop tool, which is what I'm going to do. If I want to get back to the raw one, I can just simply come over to the edit, and it's down here in the bottom of the list. So the edit is where you'll see the list of all the edits that you've done, and you can tweak them. Back into tools. So let's have a look what we can do with this image, and I'm going to keep it really simple. I'm going to create a radial, and I'm just going to bring that into the center here, move that down. All I want to do is get this middle ground area here. I need to invert this mask, so let's invert it and come back to the adjustments. And now what I'm going to do is simply raise that exposure just a little bit more contrast in there, and I'm going to come down to color maybe, and I'm just going to boost the temperature a little bit, make it just a little bit warmer. I might even give it a little bit of saturation and a little bit of vibrance. Now if I click the before and after, you can see what I've done now. I've just sort of brightened up that center portion to focus the eye. So if I close that down now and open it again, you see it's all gone back to 0. That's because it's moved over now to the edit area, and there it is there. So I'm using the same instance again within the same picture. And this time what I'm going to do is I'm going to create like a vignette effect. So into masking, I'm going to go radial again, quite a big mask this time, and I want to draw the eye into this tree. So I'm just going to make that a little bit bigger there. There we go, like that. I'm going to come into the adjustments, and I'm going to just lower the exposure just a little bit. There you go, so it's very subtle. And now what I can do, I can come into the mask again, click back on that radial and go into the brush, and I can go to erase. Just drop that strength down a little bit, maybe down to 30-ish. And I just want to take just some of that shadow, you know, that underexposure away from this tree here. I might just make the brush just a little bit smaller. There we go. Bring the light in there. There we go. And I might even just make sure it's off that a little bit there. And there. There we go. So before, after, before, after. Brilliant. I've now closed that down again. Now I want to do something with the water, because as you see it's very greyish. So what I'm going to do, I might let's see what we can do. Let's go into masking. This time I'm going to use the mask AI. Let the Luminar do its thing. That just takes a few minutes. Well, not even that really. It's normally quite quick. What the AI is doing is identifying all the different aspects of this picture. So here we go. We've got sky, flora, water, natural ground, neutral ground. And okay, so let's select the water. It's actually done a pretty good job with that, so that's good. So I'm just going to come back into the mask, the brush. Just going to bring this down again, the strength down, right down. I just want to go around the edge of the water so we don't get any halo in. So I'm just going to add a little bit around the edges there. And the reason I'm doing it this way is because I'm trying to avoid haloing happening, because it didn't quite get there, did it? So I've done that now, and come back into the adjustments and just see what we could do with this water. Take it right up, maybe make it a little bit more dark, like that. Maybe I'm even going to drop the contrast. I don't want so much detail in that water, so I'm just taking the contrast down a little bit. I am going to raise the highlights, even though I've darkened it down, so I do like that glare a little bit. And I'm just going to take the shadow down a little bit there. There you go. It's more textury now. So there's your before. There's the after. I am going to be adding a tint into the shadows anyway. So now I can take that down again. So let's have a look at the overall. Before. After, before, after. Just a couple more runs of that develop tool now. So I'm going to come into masking. This time I'm going to go to linear gradient. I'm just going to take it up from the bottom here, take it on a slight angle just to match that slab a little bit, and let's move that down a little bit so it's very good, very subtle. And adjustments, I'm just going to take that down very subtly. So there's your before, there's your after. So just leading the eye in. Close that down quickly. Come back into develop one more time. Masking, linear gradient. This time I'm coming down from the sky. I'm just gonna take that brightness down just a touch in that corner. And we're just gonna drop that down. Just, you could go too mad with it. So let's go back to 0, just taking it down a little bit, increasing that contrast maybe, or dropping the contrast even. There we go. So up there, before, after, very subtle. Okay, fantastic. Now you can see we've just literally changed this whole look, made it a bit more deeper. And what I do like to do is I like to come into toning. And the trick here is to push the amount right up, get that saturation right up, and I'm going to put some yellow, sort of goldy yellow into the highlights there. So now that I can see I've got the colour right, I'm going to pull that down It's about there. Start bringing that saturation down maybe. Okay, that's good. Probably inject a little bit more there. So there's your before, after. It's very subtle. Now in the shadows, I like to add blue. So again, I'm going to pull that right up, saturation right up, and find that blue tone I want. I want a very darky blue. There we go. And let's pull that down so it's not so blue. And now we can start dropping the amount. There we go. So blue and yellow are complementary colours. There we go. Oops, I didn't want to do that, but okay, so that's not bad that happened. Let's go into edits. There's your toning back again. And I wanted to go into the balance, just to play with the balance. There we go. Brilliant. So before, after, before, after. So you see I'll actually close that down prematurely, as it were. And I've lost all what I did, but I didn't lose it because it actually just moves it over to the edits, and you can find it here in your list. So there you go. Quick edit. There's our before. There's our after. Before and after, and that was mainly using that develop tool. And yeah, I mean Luminar does loads of stuff. I mean we could have added sun rays and stuff like that. I do actually like the mystical tool quite a lot. Sometimes you can pump that right up to max so you can see what it's doing, and then start bringing it down like that. There's up before and after. You see what it's doing there? It's sort of softening it up. Bring those shadows up a little bit more because we've got blue in those shadows. We're smoothing it out even. And that I really love the mystical tool because it adds that sort of painterly effect, which I quite like. I used to do it mainly with dehaze. Yeah, and I can use mask here if I want to. I didn't like it there. I could mask it out and stuff like that. And you can use multiple instances of this as well, so you can build it up if you wanted to. But I'm like quick and easy with that. So there you go. I've minimised it. Come back. It's all gone back to 0. If I go to edits, I can find it in here. Yeah. Whoops. Yeah. There you go. So we can go now to our before and our after. Before and our after. So there you go. There you have it. Main tool used there was just the develop tool. It's good because you can use it over and over and over and build up that your effects just in that develop tool there. And that's Luminar Neo. It is a real gem being able to use the same tool over and over again. I really like it. And there's a lot of AI driven stuff in there as well, which we can cover at later times. But this is really great for beginners as well, because it's just quick and easy, as you can see. Yeah, I hope you enjoyed that, and give it a look. I'll leave a link in the description if you don't own it already. They do like a monthly, yearly subscription if you want to do that, or you can just buy it and one-off payment and do it that way. Yeah, great team, and worth a look if you haven't got it already. Yeah. Anyway, please remember to press that like and subscribe button because that really helps the channel grow and helps other people find the channel as well, and also keeps you updated for new videos. I'll be doing a lot of videos on Neo and tips and tricks like we did in Lightroom, but most of it I think is going to be on Neo because I love the software and I do use it. So I wouldn't push it if I didn't use it. Yeah, so catch you soon. See you in the next one. Take care.